Hi, this is R.N. Bhaskar from BKBB, which is an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Batein. This is the channel where we bring you every week a policy analysis or a business story or an occasional conversation. But at this time, at 8:50 in the morning, on weekdays, Monday to Friday, we have news behind the news. We take a few headlines and look at them closely and look at things that are behind the news. And typically we do things that many other websites or podcasts don't do. So my request is that you click the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber already, click the like button, because when you click the like button, it helps our algorithms. And most importantly, tell your friends about us. It expands our universe. And today we are going to talk about 3 stories, and my co-anchors are Katya. Welcome, Katya. And the second co-anchor is Anurag. Good to have you, Anurag. Okay. Now, we are going to discuss 3 titles, and 3 titles are there on the screen. The first is US housing market collapses. Why? We'll discuss. The second is very interesting. Ola, the bright star. Is it viable? Is it in trouble? And the third one is the IBC, the Insolvency Board, has decided to tweak a few rules to make the process simpler and faster. Let's take the first one. First, look at the chart that comes on your screen. Both of them show that the housing market's collapsed. Why? Because mortgage rates have gone up. When mortgage rates go up, people can't buy houses because the rates are too high. And those who already have mortgages are asked to pay high interest, which they can't afford. And there's a crisis in the market, both with people who got old mortgages with interest rates that change with market times and not a fixed interest rate, and the new purchasers who suddenly find the markets crashing. Why did the mortgage rates go up? Because treasury bill rates went up. The interest rates on treasury bills, when they go up, and remember they crossed 5%, and now they're just under 5%, but they're very, very high compared to 2 or 3% in the past. When treasury rates go up, the cause is clearly inflation. Why did inflation take place? Tariffs on the one hand and immigration rules on the other. So the cascading effects of everyone is high prices, high interest rates, high mortgage rates, and the housing market collapses. Now, Trump knows that this is problematic. So yesterday, for the first time, he personally went to the office of the Fed Reserve, to Powell's office, and tried to persuade Powell to reduce interest rates. Powell has made it clear that he can't reduce interest rates. If you remember, just last month, he tried to dismiss Powell and found that he could not dismiss him. And so now he's gone personally to Powell to find out how interest rates could be reduced. But Powell is a victim of his policies. He cannot reduce interest rates if the tariffs are high, and if labor costs also go up because of immigration policy. And if housing collapses, expect more jobs to be lost because the construction business comes to a screeching halt. Suddenly, the US has started shaking, trembling, one may say. Let's see what happens. But let's go to another story, which is also a place where things are shaking and possibly crumbling. And that's about Ola. Katya, could we have your story?
Again, a bad boy startup and bad problems. It's back. So Ola Electric, which is listed last year, it's released its quarterly results. The surprise is the auditors are flagged off about the concerns that it cannot. It's about its financial viability. That's because of over 2,000 crores of negative cash flows it is doing. And why did this come? Why are these negative cash flows in? Because of operating losses and their lower sales volume. So if you see, last year there was another article which has come out that Ola Electric has lost market share in the two-wheeler EV business. That's because in fact a lot of analysts have predicted it. when actual original equipment manufacturers, legacy players will come and do EVs, these companies, which new age companies like Ola and Ather, might lose market share. So it's come to 20% market share. It's after Bajaj and TVS, which have swept the market. Let me tell you, Bajaj and TVS can also offer a lot of service, which Ola has been flagged off for. A lot of complaints have come in, and the response from the management was not very encouraging after that. All these factors played a role. So if you remember, this 20% is a huge drop from 50% it used to hold. That's because of lack of new players. The players come in, they've flushed, they've taken over the market, which was much expected. A lot of analysts have also earlier said the profit margins of a company which just assembles it is much different. And now this Ola's fall, if at all it happens, it's going to be it's going to also affect Ather, which is trying to come out with this IPO this year, and then we'll see how things will go for startups from here on. So, what is your opinion, sir? So, actually, Ola Electric is not profitable. Just to remind people, it plans to become profitable in FY26. And with these kind of operating losses, with auditors getting nervous, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, that's a price you pay for being too flashy. When he
Right.
came up with the product, he announced big plans, took 500 or 1,000. He took a deposit and to book the cars, had a huge float, and lived on the float very comfortably. And one moment when the product came out, there were failures. He was too pushy, too premature, and markets are sensitive. The second a failure comes up, they stay away. And the scooter market, the two-wheeler market, is a price-sensitive market. So I suppose he's not been able to get his production in place. He's not been able to get his finances in place. And market demand is flagging. And the OE will always win if he's savvy. But thanks, Kaki. Good story. And let's go to the next one. And the next one is on companies that actually fail, what happens to them? And that's where Anurag comes in. Anurag, can we have your story?
Good morning. Today's report is about a much needed amendment for bankrupt funds. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India (IBBI) has allowed administrators of bankrupt companies to sell these entities either as a whole or their assets individually. This move gives a great deal of flexibility in debt resolution, as some experts say that it has opened a new dimension in the insolvency resolution process, which allows piecemeal resolution, which shall enable committee of creditors to find asset-wise resolution, where resolving the corporate debtors as a whole may look cumbersome, uncertain, or time consuming as well. Amendments to the 2016 Corporate Insolvency Resolution Regulations, published on Wednesday, said the professional representative of creditors running the bankrupt business may, with the approval of creditors, invite debt resolution plans of the corporate debtors as a whole, or bids for sale of one or more of its assets, or for both. The amendment also allows the resolution professionals to invite those who provide interim finance to the distressed company during the bankruptcy proceedings to attend the meetings of creditors as observers only, without voting rights. As it is already known that creditors run the bankrupt enterprises through these resolution professionals and decide the fate of the company by voting. Moreover, according to a recent data by National Company Law Tribunal (NCLT), shows creditors stand to recover over 67,000 crore from 284 cases of bankruptcy resolution achieved in financial year 2025, a 42% increase compared to the amount recoverable in the same period a year ago. Along with this amendment, IBBI is also to set up IP panel for faster appointments from July to December, aimed to reducing delays in the NCLT and debt recovery tribunal appointments. This amendment shall provide ease to resolve these huge number of cases, and the new panels should fast track the process in the near future. What's your take on this, sir?
It was a long time coming. When the IBC was created in 2016, it was expected to finish all proceedings within a matter of 3 months. People know how long it's taken. And the policymakers in India have not realized there are conflicts between the Competition Commission and the IBC and the NCLT. They've not been able to resolve that internally. You bring in a law without resolving them, you're going to have problems. And then, of course, the promoter is a very wily person. He's not paid his banks. So he knows how to find loopholes to get out from everywhere. It's good that they're thinking this way. And I suspect the government wants to think this way now, finally, because there's no more money left. The gravy pot is empty. And that is why it wants changes. Good show, but good. I hope it works. Thanks, Anurag. Great show. And we now go to the questions and answers that we typically get at the end and comments. The first comment is, what will happen to Ola's customers? Katya, would you like to take up that?
So Ola is not a booked product, right? It is a purchased product. So unless, because if Ola's customers have nothing to worry about, they have TVS, they have Bajaj, they have Ather, so there's no worry about that. The problem is with the investors. Investors are the ones who should worry, because the IPO was launched with a lot of fanfare.
Yes.
And a lot of green funds, if I'm not wrong, had subscribed for it as well, which is going to be, because its service issues is going to be a huge blowback.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see what happens to Ola. There was a lot of big talk, which has not worked out as well as was claimed.
I think promoter aggressiveness is a very big no, sir. That is the first thing that you should know. Very aggressive promoters, very bad companies go together.
Very true. Very true. Thanks, Katya. Okay, we'll take the second one, which is basically on Maharashtra housing policy of the PM. With the promise of housing. Look, if the government wanted to bring in housing, they should have brought in at least 100 million housing within 1 year's time. Construction today takes only 6 months because of faster curing cement, prefabricated materials. If you want to plan housing, do it quickly. Don't create a lottery business and gamble and give it to select few. These are good policies, but the intent is bad. Even good policies fail. Let us see whether the government works on this time. There's another question related to housing in the US. What's the way out? Well, I don't see the way out unless the courts come in. Remember yesterday, the courts banned high tariffs only to get a stay against the ban. And there's a case about Harvard University, and there are many other cases. It's only the courts that will stop this, and the matter will go to the Supreme Court. So the next 6 months are turbulent. If the courts don't stop Trump, one doesn't know what will happen. It's suffering time for many US citizens and even foreigners staying there, because now he's decided to tax foreigners who got a green card but are not citizens. Troubled times ahead. Okay. There's a third question which has come about the IBC. And when it comes to IBC, how quickly can the government hope to get disputes resolved? Good question. How long does it take for any case to get resolved in the courts of India? IBC is like a court. If the intent to speeden up things is not there, modifications of rules will not take place. I like to remind people about the old John Milton phrase that the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Everyone has good intentions, but will they get affected? If they don't get affected, you'll reach hell in any case. Here, we don't even have the intent. We have only the stated intent. Anyway, that in a way brings me to the end of today's session. And yes, a reminder, please hit the subscribe button. If you're not a subscriber already, please click the like button. It helps us. And most important, tell your friends about us. In the meanwhile, because it's Friday and we've got a long weekend ahead, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy yourselves. We look forward to seeing you once again on the Monday morning when a fresh week dawns with fresh news, with fresh insights. See you again on Monday. Take care.